All right, my bad. I was a couple minutes late. Well, originally I was gonna go live at 7:30, but stuff kind of happened. Stuff kind of got in the way. Well, actually, no. Stuff I was gonna do at 7:30, and then I decided I was gonna do earlier because I realized I'd have to do something a bit later. So then I just moved it forward way more than I thought I was going to, which probably caught some people off guard, but whatever. Yeah, I like to do my streams in a format where like you don't have to be there live to watch them. You can go back and watch them later. So at least that's what I do. If I someone that I like streams, I always will go back and watch it later if I wanted to. So camera in a good position. Yeah, I think it's all right. I'll move myself a bit closer, I guess. How's it going? How's it going, North? So yeah, today we're just gonna be tier ranking all these movies. I was gonna do it in just a video, but I decided to stream would be more fun for this because I already did a top 10 movies of the year. I did top 10 horror movies of the year, and I did top 10 most anticipated of 2023. But I thought it would be fun to do this live, so like we can talk about it as I do it. You know, I thought that would be interesting. So I have 57 movies here. Obviously, I'm sure some of these you guys haven't seen, which is completely fine. I'm not going to spoil anything for any of these movies, so don't expect any spoilers for anything. But this could help you maybe determine whether or not you should watch it yourself. If you think my opinion is similar to yours usually, then maybe it'll work for you, which is usually how I do it. Like I'll watch creators, and if they have opinions that are usually similar to mine, I feel like usually when they like a movie, I'm like, oh, it's probably going to like it if this person likes it. Doesn't always work out that way, but sometimes it does. Most of these movies are more popular movies. Some of them are more obscure though, so I'm sure most of you've seen most of these, but I don't know. I'm gonna try to watch even more movies this year though. Your thumbnails have been low-key zesty lately. I don't even know what zesty means. I've heard that word used a million times, and I don't know. I don't know. Top Gun: The Batman S tier. So here's the thing. I kind of want to make an S plus tier, but I don't know if this is fine. S, A, B, C, D, F. Is that good enough, or should I do an S plus? I don't know. I don't know if it'll be necessary. Because I feel like there's a couple movies that are just way more above everything else. So maybe, but that could just be S then, right? I don't know. I guess to me, S is like 5 out of 5s. A is like, you got your 4.5 out of 5s. B is like, 3.5 to 4 out of 5s, that range. C is where you get to the 3s, or the 3.5s, that range. D is anything below 3, really. And then F's like if you're below like a 2 out of 5. So those are just the absolute trash films that just don't even deserve to be mentioned. Yeah. Well, actually, honestly, some of the movies that I'm going to put really low, I don't think are that bad. I just personally don't like them that much. But I don't really think they're that bad. There's tons of movies that exist like that out there where I'm like, this is not that bad. It's a decent movie. I just don't like it. Like, it's boring the hell. It's really boring, you know? Ambulance S tier for me. Ambulance was interesting. You should make a Morbius tier that is below F. Morbius is not my least favorite movie of the year, by the way. A lot of people probably will put that towards their bottom. I would put it towards my bottom. You'll see where I put it, but I don't think it's the worst. Now, if you take the budget of a film compared to how the quality actually turns out to be, maybe Morbius would be the worst because, I mean, for a big budget blockbuster like that, it should have been way better, but it was not. All right, so we're just gonna go. This is alphabetical order, I think. So I was gonna do release order, but I really just did not feel like trying to order these like that. That would just take way too long because you have to look up the release dates, and some movies release in different countries at different times. And I was just like, I'm not doing this. Let's just do it in this order. So I'm starting off with All Quiet on the Western Front. This one, I'm sure not many people have seen. It's on Netflix. It was good. I liked it quite a bit. I think it's definitely one of those movies that I feel like I appreciated more than I liked because there was a lot of moments where I was kind of, I don't want to say zoned out, but I wasn't like that enthralled with it. But it is really well made, especially the soundtrack. I think the score actually got nominated for the Oscars. It nominated for something. I'm not sure if it was the Oscars. It got nominated for something somewhere. And I think a lot of people are mentioning the score more than anything in this film. It came out, I think, in October or something. I forget. Are you gonna do this for shows too? No, only because I've only seen. Let me think of the shows I watched this year. I got Chucky, The Walking Dead, the Marvel shows, the Star Wars shows. and that's about it. Like, I can't really think of many others that I've seen. I'm sure there's one or two I'm missing, but I hadn't really seen that many. I don't watch shows as much as I watch movies. I'm trying to change that though. I am trying to change that. That's why I'm watching Game of Thrones now, because I want to watch more shows, you know? So, oh, and Stranger Things, obviously, I watched that. All Quiet on the Western Front, I'm gonna give a nice solid A. It would probably be on the lower end of A, I would say, because it is a really damn well-made movie. Like, I really can't deny that. The only thing keeping it at S is it just doesn't really appeal to me as much, which war films usually do appeal to me, but it's not done in the exact way that I would usually enjoy my war films, you know? The Boys, yeah, The Boys, I watched The Boys too, yeah. But that's just not enough shows, I feel like, to start, you know, making a whole list out of it. Ambulance, I'm not going to stay too long talking about the same shows, just letting you know, because we'd be here all day, but Ambulance, I like this quite a bit. I'm gonna put it in A. I'm not gonna put an S though. I might actually make an S plus tier because I'm really thinking about it. There's like a couple movies that I think just need to be above everything. Like even more so than what S is. When we get to that, we'll think about it. But Ambulance was really interesting. So it's a Michael Bay film, and I went into it expecting, you know, a Michael Bay film. You know, it's just gonna have a lot of explosions, a lot of action, and that's basically what it was. It was just an action-packed film, but I loved how it was directed. I don't know what Michael Bay was on making this film. Like, I don't know what he was doing, but he was doing some crazy shit with the camera. Like, I really had a good time with it. It was a long movie, though. I think it was my only issue. Kind of overstayed its welcome a bit. But from what I remember, because I only saw it that one time in theaters, I really loved it. I really loved it. I didn't think it was, like, incredible or anything, but it was pretty good. I had a review on the channel, actually. I did do it. And it was essentially this just heist movie. And they involved this medic, and it's very intense. I don't know if the realism was always there, because there were some things that were a bit like, yeah, that doesn't really feel like that would actually be how it would happen in real life, but it doesn't really take away from the fact that it was really well made. Will you be reacting to The Last of Us? That is a really interesting question, because I don't know. And the reason why is because I haven't played the game. And part of me wants to play the game before it, but I also don't have a PS5, so I really can't do that easily. So I would have to get a PS5 to play it, and that's a lot of money and a lot of time to try to do that. I do have a PS4, but it's like dusty, and like my brothers use it. It's not even like, I don't even like use it ever. That I would like to play it on the newer console. And that would take a lot of time to play that as well. And another part of me is thinking, well, maybe it would be more interesting to watch the show without having played the game, because I wouldn't have any idea as to what's going to happen, whereas the people who have played the game do have an idea as to what's going to happen. You know, so I don't know. I'm not too sure if I'm going to react to it or not. I just kind of want to wait and see because I feel like if the show ends up being really good, if people really like it, then I should watch it. But if it ends up sucking, then am I just going to completely spoil the game for myself when I could be playing a really fantastic game? You know what I mean? I don't know. I haven't seen Fury, no. We have Avatar: The Way of Water up next. This is probably going to go in A tier as well. Should this be A tier? I feel like these are either B or A, like for all of these. These are all really close to each other. That's all I know, though. I would probably put it like right in between these two. Should I rank them in between the tiers, or is that too much? That might be too much, but we'll do it for a little bit at least. Avatar was really great. I just think there was a little point in the film, which I have seen many people argue that it was kind of like purposeful. Like, part of the experience of Avatar is experiencing the visuals and everything, and I understand that to a degree. But it is kind of like weird to have like a large portion of the film just be focused on visuals, and that's kind of what it was. There was a certain point where I was like, all right, let's get back to the story. The story there, I actually do think was good. I don't think it's terrible. Everyone's like, oh, this is all visuals, no story. I don't really agree with that. I think there is quite a bit of really good visuals or really good story to Avatar. Even the first one had some good story. It's not anything, you know, groundbreaking, really. It's the visuals are the groundbreaking thing about it. But it doesn't mean the story's bad. I think people just compare the visuals to the story, and it's such a big difference because obviously it's not nearly as good as the visuals. It's not nearly as important and impactful. so they automatically think the story is just complete shit. But I think it's over exaggerating. I think the story is fine for what it is. But this one I liked more than the first one. I did. I think it was actually a really solid sequel, and I like how they had more focus on the characters, specifically, you know, the Sully family. So I thought it was good. Curious about what you think of Bones and All. We're gonna get to that soon. So a lot of these movies I've recently watched, by the way. I really wanted to make this like list with a decent amount of films, so I've really like shot through a bunch of movies at the very end of 2022. So this should be interesting. Yeah, so I think these should all be an A. I feel like if I make an S plus, they'll fit even better here. So yeah, I might make an S plus because I feel like there's, like I said, there's 3 films that I know are like the perfect films, and I don't think there's no reason to put them in S with a bunch of other stuff. So I'm actually gonna do that. Unless I move everything down, because the reason why I'm like struggling if I should put an S plus is because it really depends on where the other films go down here, you know? And there's a lot of films on this list. We'll just keep going. We'll just keep going. Batman is a C. We'll get to Batman soon. Oh, I was wondering. I was like, where's Batman? But it's the Batman. So technically, it's gonna be with the thes. Barbarian is next. Barbarian was, ew, yeah. So this is why I kind of want an S plus, because I feel like it deserves either high A or low S, but I don't want to call it an S movie, you know? So maybe these should get moved to B. Does that make more sense? I think that would make more sense if I move these down to B. Because Barbarians, I like Barbarian more than all of these, I would say. But I don't know if I feel good about them all being on the same tier. But yeah, Barbarian was really great. It's one of those movies you definitely want to go into it without knowing anything about it. You should definitely do that. I don't watch any trailers, even though the trailers actually did a good job of not showing anything. So it's not like the trailers spoiled anything. It's just you want to go in without knowing as much, without anything. It's like Malignant. You know, I think Malignant is one of those movies as well. You don't want to know anything about it going into it. It's even better if you don't even know if it's a horror film. So, I mean, most people can probably make that out within the first, little bit of the film. But it was a really, really, really tense film that I think just didn't fit the landing as well as it could have. Like, that's my only issue with it. I'm not spoiling anything, but I don't think the ending really was what I wanted it to be. And it's kind of hard to go in specifics without spoiling things, but I really do think the first 2 acts were incredible, though. So I don't think the third act ruined it or anything. I just think it wasn't like it went in a direction that I was like, yeah, that could have been a little bit better, but it was still really solid. Yeah, the first act, I prefer it, exactly. Yeah, I think the first act, the mystery of what's going on in this situation is exactly what I love about the film so much, because I was really back and forth on it. I was like, okay, maybe it's like this, maybe it's this. I had no idea where it was actually going to go, and I think I predicted it, but it took a lot of the film for me to get there. Like, it took like 20-30 minutes into the film for me to realize, and I was telling myself, I was like, if this ends up being the way I think it's going to go, it's going to be really good. But if it ends up going the other way, it's going to suck. That's what I was thinking. And thankfully, it went in the way that I was hoping it was going to go. And I was very happy. I don't think you will have a lot of D's and F's. Anyways, you should put all these in B to make room for better movies. That might be true. That's what I'm thinking. But if I had an S plus, it wouldn't matter. So yeah, okay, I'm going to do that. You're right. I think this looks better. Because although, yeah, I do love Ambulance, Avatar, and all Quiet on the Western Front, I don't think they're at A's, or S's, so there's not going to be many in S. Like, I want to have only like a couple films in S, so that's probably good. Because you're right, I'm not going to have that many in D and F. There's not that many terrible movies this year that I watched, because a lot of people will agree with me on this. If I look at a movie and I don't think I'm going to like it, I'm probably not going to watch it, because time is precious. Let's be real here. Time is very precious. I can't be spending all this time watching shit movies. I just can't. So if I look at it and I'm like even just the poster or whatever, if it looks bad, I'm probably not going to watch it. There are some exceptions, though. Obviously, if it's like for reactions or if it's like I just really want to be a little more open-minded about it, I do want to do that. I don't think it's a good idea to just dismiss something because it looks bad. But when time is precious and you can't watch everything in the world, you kind of have to do that. You know what I mean? Which is why I don't think it's so crazy to go off of like Rotten Tomatoes and online reviews and kind of decide what movies you're going to see based on that. I don't think that's a crazy thing to do. I personally don't like doing that, but I don't think it's crazy people to do it because most people don't have time to watch movies all day. You know, they don't. So they will only watch movies based on what other people say are good and they recommend them. You know, it's really rare people are just going to be like, oh, I'll just put on this random movie that I have no idea what it's about. So chances are, yeah, you end up seeing the better movies. That's just usually what happens. Or the more popular movies. It's not necessarily the better movies, just the more popular ones too. Because there's a couple movies like, I don't know, Black Adam, which I don't think is that great, but which actually we're doing Black Adam next. So Black Adam's like, okay. I'll put it in C. Like, I don't think this was a bad movie. Yeah, I'd put it in very low C. Maybe even D. No. Yeah, I'd put it in very low C. I think that's fair. Extremely low C. Because it was probably the most, like, mediocre movie I've ever watched. And I was really hoping that wasn't going to be the case. Because Black Adam... I'm a big fan of DC, right? I'm a big fan. I really champion DC. I want them to succeed. And they've been getting a lot of shit recently for a lot of reasons. And I've just been wanting them to have a success. I was really hoping for it. And I don't really just mean like a commercial success. Like, obviously, I want them to, you know, make money. But I also just want them to have good fan reception. And the Batman was definitely that. But Black Adam, a lot of people like it. I thought it was okay. It was action-packed. It was fun to watch. But the story just was so bland and just, I don't know. It was nothing that entertaining to me. Or like, it was entertaining, but it wasn't anything that unique and interesting to me, you know? So that's my thought on Black Adam. I did a review on it, and it's pretty much the same as I had felt back then. It was okay. I recommend watching it if you're a big fan of superhero films, but if you're not a fan of superhero films, don't go near it. You're not gonna like it. You have to see Taxi Driver? Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, don't. I'm definitely planning on watching Taxi Driver. Don't worry. All right. Next we have Wakanda Forever. This one, it's probably gonna be an A, but I feel like I don't know, because I'm not sure if I liked it more than Ambulance, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, it would be between A and B. If it'd be the B, it'd be very high B, or if it would be an A, it'd be very low A. For now, I'm going to put it right here. For now. It can definitely go up if we... Because this is one of those lists where with so many movies on it, I think I definitely could be changing them as I go along, you know? The fact that you're dribbling on a Black Adam, when is the next Game of Thrones? What? What do you mean? This is the reason why I don't watch you. Most people don't have time to sit around and rank things all day. Are you just going on about how you're pissed that I'm doing that? Bro, why are you wasting your time watching this then? I don't get it. Like, what are you doing? I'm not even gonna block you because it's kind of funny. By the way, I did watch Game of Thrones today. I literally just got done watching a new episode. But I can't sit around watching Game of Thrones all day, bro. I can't do that. I have other things to do, too. I want you to remember. But you sound like a villain the way you're talking to me right now. Alright, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Wait, did I even talk about Wakanda Forever? Not really. I liked it. It was good. I don't really have much more to say about it. I did a whole review on it, so I guess if you wanted to watch the review, you can watch the review. But I definitely went more in depth with it there. It was really well handled, how they handled T'Challa's death in it. I thought it was really well handled. Some people didn't like it. They were like, oh, he should have died a warrior and stuff. It's like, that wouldn't fit. It made more sense the way they did it. It was more peaceful and just kind of like, you know, it was well done in that way. And I like Shuri's character in this a lot. I actually think her taking the mantle made perfect sense. And she was really, really damn good in it. So, yeah, Namor was a great villain. I just don't think it really warranted the runtime. I mean, I felt like in the moment it was okay because I was just having a good time, but I do think you really have to, when you have a movie like that that's in theaters, same with Avatar, you have to warrant that runtime. And sometimes when there's some padded out sequences, it kind of does take away from it because the momentum's not there. But I don't know. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is the next one. This one I just watched recently for a reaction. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. So I think it was really clever. I just don't necessarily think that I loved. I don't know. Hold on. The fuck? Sorry, I was just I get these text messages from these things like they're always scammers. I think they're like those Amazon things, and they're like telling you that someone's like hacking into your thing, but in reality, it's just a scam. So I always, every time I get those, I'm like, it always scares me. I'm like, was someone trying to hack me? But usually it's just one of those scamming things. So you always just gotta forget about it. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is an F for me. So the thing about Bodies, Bodies, Bodies that I felt, I really liked how clever it was because they did have a clever idea going for it. I just don't like. It was the point. The characters, they were supposed to be unbearable. That was the point. I kind of get that. It was a satire against, you know, Gen Z pretty much. But there's a certain point where it's just like, oh my god, like I just, you know what I mean? Especially the dialogue. But it was really clever. I liked the twist. So I'm gonna give it a C. I liked it more than Black Adam, at the very least. I just don't think I loved it. I really had a good time with it, though. I will say that. It's short and sweet. Doesn't overstay its welcome. I like that. What is the cringiest movie you've ever seen in your life? Do you mean cringy in terms of, like, bloody and gory, or in terms of, like cringy, you know, the way that people use it nowadays? Like awkward, cringy, I guess is the word for it. My favorite film of the year was a 3.5-hour documentary from Germany. Many didn't see it, unfortunately. What was it called? Yeah, I'm completely fine with movies being long. Like, that's the thing. I have no problem with long movies. I actually love long movies when they're done right. Sometimes I think some movies, they pad it out, especially when it's in theaters, and it's like, I gotta pee, man. Like, come on. Like, why make your movie long just for the sake of it? You need to justify that runtime. And a lot of times they're able to do that. The Batman, I think, was justified for how long it was. Every single Lord of the Rings film was justified. King Kong was justified with how long it was. At least I would say. I get those who enjoyed it, but I hate the plot and the characters, and the ending didn't make it better. Yeah, I think the ending for me made it a little bit better, but it was, yeah, I don't know. I just think that I like the twist because I didn't see it coming. I think that's maybe why I liked it, and it was kind of clever because it was showing how stupid Gen Z can be, which was the point they were making. Which, I mean, like, I don't. I'm Gen Z too, so I'm making fun of myself. But I'm sure some people. I feel like a lot of people who liked it probably were Gen Z too, which is funny because like they're making fun of Gen Z, but I feel like most people who probably liked it were Gen Z. I really doubt that many older audiences liked it. I could be wrong. Cringy as in I can't stand it. That's a tough one. There's a lot though. But I have to think about that. Are you planning on watching Wednesday at some point? I was going to, but I feel like it's too late now. Like, it's been around for too long, and not as many people would really care to see me react to it, I feel like. Some people might, but I'm not sure. I was gonna watch it on my own, but I never did. Alright, so Bones and All is the next one we have. I literally just recently watched this, and it was good. It was good. I didn't love it, but I liked it. But the question is, where would I put it? Probably in B. But it'd be like low B? Yeah, I think low B would sound pretty good. Remember, C's like average. So B's like good. These are good movies. These are just fine movies, you know? A is when we start to get to like the great stuff, and S is just the straight masterpieces. I think that's the best way to do this. So I put it in B. I think I would have liked it more if it was less of a romance and more of a horror. I know it was supposed to be a romance. I'm not saying they needed to change it just for me, but I do think it would have been more entertaining if it went deeper into the horror elements, because it was mainly there as a romance, and that's fine. It was good. I didn't have anything against it, really. I just don't think it was necessarily my kind of movie all around. Are you excited for Maxine? Oh, definitely. Especially because it's going to be set in the 80s. Love 80s films. Or 80s. Films set in the 80s. I love 80 films too, but you know what I mean. I'm excited for Jurassic World Dominion on the ranking. Oh, yeah. We'll see. Watch the Mission Impossible series. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get back to Mission Impossible. Don't worry. Just took my sweet ass time to get to the third one for some reason. All right, we got Bullet Train. Bullet Train I just watched recently, actually, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, it was probably, I wouldn't say the most surprising movie of the year, but it was up there because I saw the trailers and they never looked that interesting. Well, it was just looked decent to me, but it's my kind of movie, to be honest. So I'm gonna put it in A. It was my kind of movie because it takes a lot of different plot lines, kind of mushes them together in this giant, just action-packed, all centered on one location film. So that to me is, I like it. It's got a lot of comedy to it too. It's got a lot of like Matthew Vaughn style humor and directing, and I just liked it a lot. I don't know, especially the ending, the third act, awesome. I have a reaction for it, by the way. I just didn't upload it to YouTube yet, so it'll probably come on YouTube in the next few weeks. How far are you at this point to Game of Thrones? I just got done watching season 1, episode 9. Don't say anything in the comments about like specifics, because I don't want people who haven't seen it to like, you know, get spoiled on anything. So the water bottle had an important part in Bullet Train. Oh yeah, the water bottle. Bullet Train was a good time. I wish I saw it in theaters, to be honest. It's definitely one of those movies that I kind of wish I did see in theaters. But it was still fine watching it here. I like that I was able to do a reaction for it, because there were a lot of moments where I was like, wow, that was really cool. I think I would have, as much as I like the movie a lot, I do kind of wish it was directed by someone who maybe, because it was the Deadpool 2 director. I forget the guy's name. He's a good director. Nothing against him, but I do think there's someone else who could have maybe shot the action in more of an interesting way. It was good action. It just wasn't as good as it could have been, I feel like. Action and comedy were both lame. I thought it was funny. It was probably the funniest movie of the year, at least one of the funniest movies of the year. Especially Lemon and Tangerine, they were great. Will you watch bad movies and make fun of it, like Batman and Robin 97? I've already seen that one, but I'm not opposed to watching bad movies. It needs to be a popular bad movie. Choose or Die. F. I don't know how many people watch Choose or Die, but don't watch it. Please, save yourself the 2 hours. It is without a doubt one of the worst horror films I have ever seen in my entire life. It is boring. It is stupid. There's nothing interesting about it. It's an interesting concept, maybe. But I've seen it done before in other movies, and it's always done better. This movie's bad. Don't watch it unless you just want to be bored. Or unless you want to just see it for yourself and make your own opinion. That's up to you. But I think it was terrible. That's just my opinion. I think Choose or Die was pretty terrible. I watched it because it was earlier in the year, and I wanted to see more movies that came out this year. So I was like, oh, I'll watch it. And I think it might have been the worst movie of the year. It's one of the worst of the year, for sure. So expect this to be probably at the bottom for most of this video. Next up, we have Christmas Bloody Christmas. I just watched this the other day on my own. I didn't watch it for the channel. I'm sorry if you guys wanted to see me react to it, but I just watched it on my own. I didn't really think it's that popular of a film anyways, so I took a look, and it was okay. It was good. I mean, I didn't think it was bad. It just wasn't that special either. The only thing I hated about it, and the thing that's going to take it down from being in B, it would have been a B, but because it's in C, it's because the dialogue is fucking abhorrent. I've never heard worse dialogue in my life in the first 40 minutes. Okay, look, it's not, okay. I don't want to say it's bad dialogue. It's just so annoying type of dialogue. It's like Rob Zombie type dialogue. Like just F-bombs and just sex jokes every 3 seconds. And I'm like, please, for the love of God, can you talk about anything other than sex and drugs and like just it's like F-bombs just every 2 seconds. I curse a lot. I do. But I don't want to watch a movie where 2 characters are talking for the first 30 minutes of the film about nothing but that, and it's just cursing and just, I don't know. You got to watch it for yourself to really know what I'm talking about. But not good dialogue. But once you get to the Santa animatronic thing killing people, then it starts to get pretty good, and I actually do like it. You know, like it actually gets some decent stuff, and it's a pretty decent slasher. It's not anything that special. I like the colors in it. It's a very good looking movie. It's definitely a low budget film, but it's not bad. Like I just think that the dialogue, they need a better script for that shit, because I was just like, bro, can they please stop talking? I gotta turn on my fan. It is so hot today for some reason. It's like January 4th, and it's just, I don't even know, like 60 degrees out. Rob Zombie breakfast scene. I didn't have that much of an issue with that scene because it's just one scene, you know, as opposed to being literally the first 40 minutes of the movie, you know? And that wasn't characters we're supposed to like either. We weren't supposed to like Michael's family, so yeah, you know? Is Violent Night on here? Yeah, it's towards the bottom because I haven't done it yet. It's in alphabetical order, we're ranking them, so we'll get to that way towards the end, I guess. Okay. Next we have Deep Water. So, sorry, I got to burp. Just drank a lot of water. Deep Water was okay. I don't know. It was. I've never really seen Ben Affleck in anything other than DCEU Batman, so it was kind of cool to see him in something else. And he was okay. I thought this movie was gonna be a lot better than it was, though. So I'm probably gonna put a bottom of C. Yeah, bottom of C sounds good. I don't think it's deserving of D. D would be a bit much. I just think, like, it's just a concept that it's a lot of sex too, so which not a good or bad thing to me, but it's just, I don't know. I don't really have much to say about it. It's definitely one of those movies where I just didn't really have much of an opinion after seeing it, which is why it's in C. How's your day been? Pretty good. Pretty good. Next up we have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I already talked about this in my top 10 movies of the year video because yes, it is within my top 10 movies of the year. It is going to go in the top of A. It's not going to go to S because, like I said, I want to save S for like just a couple films, but this is deserving of A. It's so good. I don't understand the hate for Doctor Strange 2. I don't get it. I went into it probably with higher expectations, to be honest. I will admit I had higher expectations. So in a way, the movie was disappointing, but that doesn't change the fact that it's still incredible, you know? I was expecting some more multiverse stuff. Like, obviously, it's a Multiverse of Madness. You're expecting an actual Multiverse of Madness. And it really was like you visited like one other universe and a couple others in like that little sequence, but it wasn't, there was no like, you know, actual Multiverse of Madness going on. But I do love the story to it. I do love the visuals. It is without a doubt the best looking MCU film. Maybe Wakanda Forever is close as well, but I would say that's probably the best looking MCU film. Maybe Eternals was really good looking too. I didn't like Eternals that much, but I think it's definitely a good looking MCU film. But I would say Doctor Strange 2 is probably some of the best visuals, some of the best colors. The character of Wanda and her progression and her character in this one, I absolutely loved. I loved Doctor Strange's character in this one. I loved even like America Chavez was a decent character. It was a really good movie. I don't really have much more to say about it because I talked about it so much this year. I've done so many videos for it, but I loved it. Best post-credit scene if you love Evil Dead. Yeah, it was a funny post-credit scene. I think it was kind of useless, but it was I guess a little chuckle. Will you see Megan? Yeah, I'm gonna watch Megan tomorrow. I'll have a review for it. All right. Don't Worry, Darling. So this one I just watched recently as well, and I don't completely understand the hate for it. Do I think it's that good? No. but I don't understand why people are acting like this is the worst thing of all time. I don't get it. I'm sorry. I didn't think it was god awful. Do I think it was great? No, of course not. I'm going to put it at the bottom of B, the complete bottom of B. That's probably fitting for it, because you had a lot of good stuff to this movie. I think it was a fantastic concept. I love the concept of Don't Worry, Darling. I really do. I don't want to go in depth as to what the concept was, because that kind of is a spoiler. But they don't execute it, especially towards the end, that well. I think it's one of the worst endings to a film I've seen in a while. But I don't think that makes the rest of the film bad. There's a lot of movies this year that I don't like the ending, I'll be honest. Ton of movies this year I don't like the ending. But I don't think the ending destroys the stuff that came before it. That's probably one of my most unpopular movie opinions. A lot of people say that, like, oh, a new movie comes out, it destroys the stuff that came before it, just because they didn't like it, or the ending destroys stuff before it, or it's TV shows, a new season destroys stuff. I don't agree with that. If the rest of it's still really good, it's still really good. You know, completely. Same, Star Wars, I have that opinion. I like The Force Awakens so damn much, but the two movies that came after it, not very good. Still love The Force Awakens. Don't Worry, Darling, I think it's a decent film. I don't think Harry Styles is bad in it. Everyone's like, oh, his acting is god-awful. It wasn't that bad. I'm sorry, it really wasn't that bad. Florence Pugh, she's great and everything. She was great in this. I don't know if the message they were trying to get across was handled that well, though, I will say. I love the aesthetics of the film, though. So there's a lot of stuff I liked, a lot of stuff I didn't like. So it's kind of just in the middle for me. It's bottom of B, though. It's definitely not going to be that high in the B tier. So I'll leave it there. I don't know if it was predictable? Maybe. I don't know. I don't usually call movies predictable bad, though, because there's a lot of predictable movies out there. Next up, we have Elvis. So Elvis... I recently watched this as well. As you can see, I watched a lot of movies this year. I'm going to say probably... It's going to go in B tier. I know it's going to go in B tier. I just don't know where. Because the thing about this movie... Austin Butler probably gives, I would say, one of the best performances of this year. Probably one of the best I've seen in a while. He literally became Elvis in this, like, completely. Like, you couldn't even tell it was someone else at the end, especially. But I don't know if it was that great of a movie. And this is my opinion, definitely. I'm not, I completely am aware that this is my personal opinion. I'm not usually that into, what do you call them? Biopics? Is that the name for it? I'm not usually that into them for a number of reasons. Sometimes I like it because it's like, okay, it's cool to see the person's, story put to screen. The problem is, though, it's a long period of his life. It's like, what, like 30 years or something? And it's trying to tell that story in 2 hours, 2.5 hours, I guess. So it feels rushed. And rushing a story like that, just, it's very much a montage film. Like, most of the movie is montages. Every now and then you get a scene, and I just don't like movies like that, usually. Sometimes they can be done right, sometimes they're not. So I think that takes away from it for me personally a little bit, but it doesn't change the fact that Austin Butler's performance in this was just amazing. And of course, hearing Elvis's music is amazing. So I love to hear it, and you hear a lot of his music in this movie, so that's cool. Do you think Elvis was better than Bohemian Rhapsody? I haven't seen Bohemian Rhapsody, so I couldn't give my opinion on that. Have you played The Last of Us? Nope. I actually talked about this earlier today. Haven't played it. I want to. I just haven't yet. So I'm not sure if I'm going to watch the show or play the game first. Not sure. Damn. Throat's already starting to hurt. I just was sick, by the way. So if my voice starts to sound all cracky, I was just getting over sickness. Which is why I didn't really post many videos. I saw someone asking about Game of Thrones, the next Game of Thrones video. Probably Friday would be the next Game of Thrones video. I just watched episode 9, so I'll probably be able to edit it tomorrow, and I'll probably have it out for Friday. It's hard to get those videos out because YouTube is really annoying when it comes to making them not suitable for advertisers, so I have to get through a bunch of stuff. Everything Everywhere All at Once, S tier. I don't even think we have to talk about that much. I've talked about that in my video already a bunch. Definitely one of the best movies of the year. It is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. Definitely my top 100 at least. Probably my top 50 even. It's a really, really cool movie. It's really well made, really deep themes, and uh, I'm sure many of you have seen it. You know the good stuff about this. It's a really good film. The hype was really high, and I went into it knowing all about the hype, and it definitely lived up to my expectations. So, yeah, I didn't expect to like it as much as it actually that though. Obviously I heard a lot of good things about it, but I was expecting it to be one of those like overhyped films where it's like, okay, everyone's saying all these good things about it, but is it really that good? Yeah, they weren't kidding. It is really good. The dildo fingers with Jamie Lee Curtis. Oh no, yeah, I don't think I had the C word. I have to say the C word because I think YouTube doesn't like when you say the word, which is so stupid. Like, why can't you say it's a fucking name of an illness? Why can't I say it? They might not have a problem with it. I don't know, but I didn't have that. I had just normal virus. Might have been the flu even. I have no idea. I don't know. It was pretty bad. But is Puss in Boots? No, I didn't see Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I want to though. I do. I'm not really a big animation guy, but I heard a lot of good things about it, so I think it deserves to be watched, you know? Okay, I'm not gonna talk about Everything Everywhere All at Once that much more, because, like I said, if I already talked about it in my top 10 videos, or top 10 movies of the year, I'm not gonna say too much, because I already got done talking about it a lot in those videos, so definitely, recommend checking those out if you have the time, because I go way more in depth on my top 10 of the year, as well as top 10 horror films of the year. All right, we have Firestarter. I was up next, which Firestarter is probably one of the most disappointing movies of the year, unfortunately, because I really was excited for this. Like, the trailers just completely hooked me. I think I saw the first trailer for this during Morbius. I saw Morbius in theaters, and I saw the trailer for this, and the moment I saw it, I was like, I need to see that shit. That looks like my kind of movie, like, completely. I even bought the book. I didn't read it, but I bought it. And it looked great. It ended up being like a C-tier movie, though. It's not bad. I don't think it's terrible. Everyone's, out and about thinking it's terrible, but it's just not that good either. It's kind of like just okay. It's got some good stuff to it. The soundtrack is phenomenal. One of the best soundtracks of the year. But, doesn't really do anything that interesting. It's kind of just bland. I don't know. I never seen the original either, but it didn't really do much for me. I thought it was my kind of story, like a child who has superpowers, and people try to use her for her powers, and she has to fight against the people who try to use her for her powers. Like, I've seen a million stories like that before, but I always like those stories. You get Logan, you got Stranger Things, tons of stories like that. Little girl, little boy, whatever, with powers, and people try to use her for the government, whatever, and they have to fight. I love those stories, and I was excited for that, and it just ended up being kind of whatever. So, for a second, I thought you said you were high during a movie, but you said hyped. Yeah. Do you think Top Gun 1 is a bros hangout film with no conflict? Sure. Yeah. I'm gonna just say sure to that. Next up we have Fresh. Fresh, I think Fresh was interesting, but I didn't like it that much, to be honest. Like, I thought it was fine. It was a cool idea, and I liked Sebastian Stan in it. I mean, he was the best part about it. Like, if you take out Sebastian Stan, you replace him with anyone else, it's garbage. But Sebastian Stan was a lot of fun. I never thought I would see him in a role like that. So I liked it for that, but I didn't think it was that impressive otherwise. So I'm just gonna put it in C. Which, I mean, I think that might be an unpopular opinion. I definitely think people liked Fresh more than I do. I think out of any of my opinions, I think this is probably one of the more unpopular ones. Actually, I'm curious if there's gonna be other really unpopular opinions. Probably for a few, yeah. But this one's probably one of my more top. It was fine. I just didn't like it as much as other people did. I'm not going to put it in D. Like I said, we're probably not seeing too many Ds and Fs today. Probably not. Glass Onion. Glass Onion I just watched recently, and it's going to go right here in A. It was really good. It's the only issue I have with Glass Onion, though. I do think the structure of it was a little weird. Like, they had this... I don't want to spoil too much, but they have this, like, really out of chronological order sort of section of the film, which I think works to a degree, but I don't necessarily think it makes the mystery that great. Like compared to the first one, I think the mystery was way better because it was something you can easily kind of like clue along with it. You could be like, oh, you know, this is what's going to happen here. This could possibly be what's going to happen here. You kind of predict things. You're not going to get it right, most likely, but you can kind of at least piece things together in some way. Whereas in this one, I feel like they do definitely make it complete, like it's completely out of left field, like some certain things happen. So you're just like, okay, well, there was no way I could have possibly predicted that. You know what I mean? Which is kind of the purpose. I think it works, but I do think that does take away from it just a tiny bit. It's not as good as the first one. But it is still really good, really strong cast. I do like the outcome of the mystery. I do like what ends up happening in the end. And I love, what is his name? Blanc, whatever the hell his name is. Great character. I fucking love Daniel Craig in that role. I think it's one of my favorite accents I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, whatever the accent is, I don't even know what accent's supposed to be. It's fantastic. So, it's solid. I think Rian Johnson is a good director. He's a good writer too. It's just, I just didn't like a Star Wars film, you know? A lot of people just hated his Star Wars movie and then just, they hate on anything else he does, but I think that's not fair because he is a good director. He's a good writer too. He just didn't do Star Wars the way I wanted him to do it, you know? It's okay. Didn't care for it. Cheesy. We talking about Glass Onion? It was a little cheesy. Okay, Halloween Ends. See, people were actually questioning why I didn't have it in my top 10 horror movies of the year, and it wasn't that close to it. It was probably top like 20, but I'm gonna put it in C right here. I think it's better than these. I don't think it's that great because it isn't really a Halloween movie. And that's not necessarily a terrible thing, but the problem is they market it as a Halloween film, and you have Michael Myers in there. So why go in this completely different direction with it? You know what I mean? And I don't think all of it worked either. Some of it worked, not all of it though. Halloween Ends was the greatest disappointment of last year's for me. I don't think it was disappointment for me because I wasn't expecting much, to be honest. And that's just me because I don't like kills. But if I liked kills a lot, I think I would have been more disappointed by it. Sorry, I just want gum because my throat hurts. And gum helps ease the pain a little bit. But yeah, so Halloween Ends, what I liked about it, I liked the new direction because it is an interesting story. But the problem is, it's just, why make this for the third film? Why do this now? You know what I mean? That's the issue. You should have just concluded the story that you're trying to tell between Laurie and Michael and have it be that. But you completely bring this new character out of left field. It's a really weird change to do. But with that being said, I still do somewhat enjoy the story they did tell, though, which is really weird. You know, it's a weird, what is the word? Dichotomy? I don't know if that's the right word to use, but it's a really weird thing how, like, on one hand, why'd they go in this direction? It was kind of a weird change of direction. But on the other hand, I kind of still like the story, though. I don't hate it. I mean, I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. It's just kind of whatever, you know? Yeah, the whole transfer of power thing, it was kind of, I just thought it was a little weird. Like, it kind of just came out of nowhere. It's like adding new abilities for Michael that we've never seen before. It's like, what the fuck's going on here? But I like the character of Corey. I do. So, I don't know. I have some enjoyment out of it. I had a fun time watching it. I just think it was a really bad finish to it. But it was okay. I like the concept. That was one of my favorite things I like because it shows that evil can take many shapes. I think that was what actually Laurie said in it. That makes sense. But one thing I hated was how Laurie treated the situation. I didn't buy it because in Halloween 2018, Michael is behind bars and she's so crazy. She's like, oh, he's gonna come kill me, but he's behind bars, right? And then Halloween Ends, Michael is still out there. He's still out there. He's you know, done terrible things to you. And now you're just like, oh, whatever. I'll just chill. I don't really care anymore. Why? I feel like that should have been the complete opposite. It was a little weird. A little weird. Are you going to see James Bond films? Yep, I will. In the future. Not anytime soon, probably, but at some point, yeah. Halloween Ends is the closest. Oh, I already read that, actually. I didn't read it out loud, though, but I read it. Worst part was the Band Geek bullies. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. All right, well, we got Hellraiser next. So Hellraiser, I got way more positive things to say about it, because this was actually a very surprising film. But where would I put it on the list, though? Probably below All Quiet on the Western Front, but above Bones and All. Yeah, Hellraiser was pretty good. I didn't see any of the Hellraiser. I only saw the first one, and then I watched this one right after it, and I didn't think it was better than the first one, but it was certainly at least somewhat up to par with quality. I liked the new Cenobites as well. I liked how interesting they were. They were really cool. They had a lot of cool visuals to them. Good characters. It was all around a good horror film. I Love You, but how can you put Avatar and the Harry Styles movie at the same level? Well, same level, but this is in order, so technically, like, high B is obviously going to be a lot better than low B, you know? We're going to have a lot of movies in B, I feel like, so just keep that in mind. Although they're kind of close here, by the end of this list, they might be kind of far, you know? I might even end up moving some of these to A, just because it might work better. We'll see. We'll see. For now, let's just leave it like this. Laurie's behavior should be more like Ends, Kills, 2018 in that order. Yeah, exactly. Laurie believed Michael was after her till Hawkins told her that he wasn't. It was ever about her. That is true. I mean, that's something she should have realized from the beginning, to be honest, but I feel like, I don't know. I see what you're saying, though. I don't like how David Gordon Green made Michael human when he's not technically. Did he really make him human, though? I feel like they went really far with the supernatural elements, but like they were like kind of like teetering on it. They're like kind of human, but then at some points he would be completely like not directly supernatural, but you kind of think he would be, you know? Just based on the fact that he doesn't like ever die, you know? All right, Jurassic World Dominion. Huh. Probably not gonna put it that high, to be honest. Probably gonna be an unpopular opinion, but I'm gonna put it right here and see. Actually, I don't know. Did people like Jurassic World Dominion that much? Because I personally wasn't that crazy about it. I thought it was okay. It was entertaining, but very disappointing. Because Jurassic World is, in my opinion, one of the best Jurassic Park movies. It's actually, you know, one of my favorite movies ever, actually. Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, I think, are really solid. And Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom was kind of a disappointment, but it wasn't like, you know, like the end of the world, because I was always like, oh, okay, well, let's see if there's another one coming after this. It's going to bring back the old cast and everything like that. And then it comes out, and I don't know, they just went some weird directions with it. You had a bunch of new storylines being introduced that didn't really fit what was happening the prior ones. They didn't do a great job of balancing the cast members, and they didn't really show off the concept as well as they should have. You know, dinosaurs being out in you know, the United States and out and about, like they should have shown that more. Shown it more. Show us in cities with dinosaurs attacking. Show, like, do more of that, you know? But they kind of just don't. I don't know. It wasn't that great. I thought it was okay. It was whatever. Kind of boring, too. There was a large portion of the film where I was zoned the fuck out. Completely zoned out. Okay. This next one, I have to disclaimer, I'm not the target audience for this movie at all, whatsoever. This movie's not made for me. I don't think it's bad. I literally was the most bored I've ever been in my entire life watching this film, so I have to put it in here because I can't possibly give it more credit than that. I was bored out of my mind watching Kimmy. I'm sure people love it. I'm sure people are gonna like it, but I don't get the appeal of it. I don't really see the point of it. There's a deeper message to it than I saw myself. I didn't really care to, you know, explore it more. I watched it, was basically half asleep most of the time, and then I got done with it. Maybe I'll check it out again someday. Maybe I'll like it more. I don't know, but I was bored. I don't know. I like Zoe Kravitz. She's a good actress, but the movie didn't really do anything to let her do much about it because there's not much that happens in it. So I wasn't a big fan of it. I'm sure a lot of other people will disagree, but because I haven't seen anybody really hate this movie that much. A lot of people do love it. I've seen a lot of positive things. So the ratings are pretty high. I was bored. I liked Dominion more than I thought I would, but it certainly was disappointing as the final film. Yeah. I think that kind of fits with me too. I definitely didn't hate it. I just, but I don't think I liked it as more than I thought I would. Actually, I thought I was gonna like it a lot more. But no, it was just kind of whatever. Lightyear. So Lightyear, like I said before, I'm not a big like animated film guy in general, unless it's Pixar. But even then, some Pixar films just don't really grab me. And Lightyear was okay. I'm probably gonna put it like right here and see. It was fine. There's a lot of C's. We're getting through a lot of C's here. It was fine. It was not exactly like the type of Pixar movie I like, because I like the really heartfelt Pixar films where there's a really deep message and there's a lot of, emotional moments. But this one was just kind of more of a fun sci-fi film, which I like those types of films, but not when it's an animated film about Buzz Lightyear, but not the Buzz Lightyear I know. So, it was whatever. I thought it was fun, but I don't think it necessarily shouldn't exist. It's just I just don't think it's the type of Pixar movie I'm normally going to enjoy. So I think C tier works for me. I could maybe, like, if I was to like rate this based off of what I think kids would feel about it, maybe they like it more, but I don't know. I don't think it really did much for me. The cat carried that entire movie. I agree. That's probably the most I laughed, actually. It was the cat scenes. Everything else was kind of just like, yeah, okay, it was fine. They actually categorized Kimmy as a TV movie? Really? I didn't realize that. I still count TV movies as movies, though, to be honest, so. All right. Marcel the Shell. Oh, this one's probably going to go in B, but where in B? This one is probably one of the best, like whenever I have kids one day, I'm gonna show them this movie because it's just like one of those perfect like it's just funny, like family friendly humor. Like it's perfect. And I usually don't find those as funny as R-rated type movies, but this one I actually laughed quite a bit. It's a cute movie too. Like it had a lot of just cute moments to it, and it wasn't showing in that many theaters. I had to like really go out of my way to find it because it wasn't playing at that many theaters, and it was only playing at certain times. And it was definitely worth it. It was a fun movie. It's based on this YouTuber, I think. He makes these like short films or something with this little shell that like stop animation or whatever it's called, stop motion. And he what's it called? He made a movie out of it. I guess he was able to get a movie. It was A24 film actually too. It's crazy I was able to do that. And I thought it was a good time. It's not going to be better than these, obviously. It's not, it's not doing anything too crazy, but it is a nice, cute story that I would definitely rewatch someday. So yeah. Moonfall, I literally watched this morning. So yeah, so disappointed in this movie. And not that I was expecting to like it, because I heard all the terrible things about it, and I don't usually let those get to me. And this is the one time they did get to me, because I actually didn't see the movie because of it. I was so excited for this because I love Roland Emmerich. He's one of my favorite directors. Not one of my favorite directors. He's a director I really do like, though, because I love disaster films, and he does a lot of disaster films. 2012, Independence Day, The Day After Tomorrow. So I was like, okay, this could be really good. He does some good stuff. I like his stuff. But this ended up being kind of a waste of time. I don't think it was awful, though. I don't think it was awful because there were really good visuals. It was kind of entertaining in some sequences, like some of the crazy natural disaster scenes where, like, the moon's like collapsing into Earth and a bunch of meteors are striking. Like, those scenes are cool to watch. So it's not going to be F. But I don't know what he was trying to do with like most of this film. You could have done so much more with it, and it could have worked. I love the idea. The moon's falling. Oh, okay, cool. Like, come on. But then they go in some weird ass direction that just makes no fucking sense. I'm just sitting there like, what? And the worst thing about it, and I could say maybe his other films have this problem too, but my biggest issue is why do not any of the characters take any of these situations with any sort of urgency? There will be like a fucking meteor coming towards them, and they're just kind of sitting there like, oh, look, there's a meteor, huh? Like they don't like react like humans should react, at least in this movie. And I'm just sitting there like, why are you not freaking the fuck out? And I know why. It's because, you know, they don't film it with that happening. Obviously, the CGI. So they film it with a green screen. And the actors, maybe the directors aren't doing a good job of telling them, hey, react like there's a giant fucking meteor coming towards you right now. Maybe they should do a better job of communicating that, because every time I'm watching these characters, they do not act like this is actually a big situation. They kind of treat it like it's a very small scale thing. And I'm like, bro, you should be freaking out. Your life is on the line right now, and they don't give a shit. So, I don't know. I do love his other films, though, I will say. So I was definitely looking forward to it, and I just don't think it landed. It wasn't terrible. I don't think it's god-awful. It's just not very good. Definitely not very good. A lot of the side characters and things with the kids just rough to watch. Yeah, that stuff was bad, too. I was definitely more into the stuff with Patrick Wilson and Halle Berry, but... oh, Sam from Game of Thrones was in it, so that was fun to watch. But yeah, I don't know. It was fun. It was okay. It was just okay. Below okay. It was bad. Is below okay bad? Okay, it was not good. I don't know. I'm always bad with words because sometimes I'll say it's okay when I really don't mean it's okay. I just mean it's like, it's so bland that like, I don't know. You know what I mean. Morbius is next, so I'm sure you guys will love to see where I place this. I'm actually not going to put an F, though. It's going to go in D right next to Moonfall. Kind of similar, not concepts, but similar idea where I don't think it's god-awful like a lot of people do, but I also don't think it deserves to get any credit other than maybe a couple of the scenes. Because I was entertained by it. Like, at least, the thing with F, right? F is... they're bad and they're not fun to watch. They're boring and they're bad. Whereas D, they're bad, sure, but I could definitely find myself enjoying some of the scenes. I wasn't always bored watching these two movies. Morbius, some of it I was interested in. Some of it was so bad it's good, I'll be honest. But obviously it's not going to get anything higher than that because it was kind of like, I was honestly expecting to like it. I was going into this being like, okay, this is going to be the most surprising movie of the year. It's going to end up like surprising the hell out of people. And no, it did not. It was bad. It just wasn't very good. It's a D, yeah. It's a D. It's a D. It had a good, like, I liked the trailers for it. I thought it looked good from the trailers. And I was like, oh, this might be good, but no, Matt Smith was the best part of the movie. He was. I said that coming out of it because he was taking the character in such a campy way, and it actually worked so damn well. Like that scene where he's dancing with his shirt off, I think is actually the best scene in the movie, and I'm not saying that sarcastically. Like that's the best scene in the movie. It's just so stupid, but it's funny. So I'd rather watch something that's stupid and funny than just plain boring like the two movies in F. So there you go. You have to watch Morbius 18 times? What? Spitting my gum out because it's starting to get kind of gross. Why can't they make gum that lasts longer? You know, I need gum that lasts like 10 hours. You know, they get gross after like 30 minutes. Okay, what's next? No Exit. D. I'm sure people like this more than I did because it was, again, one of those movies where I don't think it had low ratings or anything. I just wasn't interested in it. It could have been good, but I wasn't really enjoying it. That dance is as iconic as Toby's in Spider-Man 3. Not as iconic, but maybe it's close. I don't know. Next we have Nope. So Nope's probably gonna go B? Yeah, probably B. Because I didn't like it more than Barbarian. And I didn't like it more than Avatar. But I'd say I liked it more than Hellraiser. So I'll put it in B. Yeah. That sounds about right. Nope for me was similar to a lot of like Barbarian as well, similar to a lot of horror films this year. I think the third act was the only thing that I don't think really worked for me. But the rest of it was great. Like, I think the second act was better. There was actually a point in this film I was going to give it a 5 out of 5. So it could have been S if it hit the landing, but I don't think it hit the landing. There was a certain point. I think it was a scene, no spoilers, but it was a scene where, like, it was really dark out and they were showing the house and the thing was right above the house and all, like, the blood was coming down from, like, the windows. That scene, I was like, this is a 5 out of 5 movie. But I just don't think it hit the landing. So then it kind of lowered it a little bit for me. So I think B sounds good for it. So you're the gum girl from Willy Wonka? Well, I don't save it for later, though. I mean, how fucking gross, wouldn't that? But yeah, I would, if I could take gum that lasts forever, I would. In a million years. Love the two main actors, though. Of Nope? Yeah, definitely. I forget the guy's name. I know Kiki Palmer, obviously, but the other guy, I forget his name. But he's good. He was also in Get Out, right? Yeah. I thought Nope was the best Jordan Peele film. My opinions on Jordan Peele's film are the complete opposite of, I feel like, what the average person would say. Because I think the average person would probably say Get Out, then Nope, then Us. For me, I would say Us, then Nope, then Get Out. So it's the complete opposite of everyone else. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. This hot take, I thought, oh, I already read that. I always do that. I think I read someone's and then I read it again and then I'm like, wait, I literally just read that. Okay, what's next? Orphan First Kill. Okay, this one was a surprise. I might actually put this above Nope, actually. I don't think it's going to go in A, but it's got so many in B. I feel like I might need to throw some of these down into C and some of these up into A, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll if we get to a point where there's too many in B, I might do that. But I loved Orphan First Kill. Maybe love's a strong word. Maybe I liked it a lot. Really cool because it's a prequel, and in no way did I think we needed a prequel for an orphan film because the backstory is not that deep, but they were able to find a way to make a twist on it that actually makes it work really well as a prequel, and it's actually a really well made film too. It's really impressive because this is 20-something-year-old actress. They're able to make her look like she's 10 years old, or at least, you know the movie and you know what I'm talking about. Obviously, I'm not gonna spoil it, but really impressive how they did it. And it was actually like the decent kills to it. Really great acting, I would say, all around. Solid actors and actresses. So I liked it a lot. Can't believe you have Doctor Strange at A tier? Well, you better believe it, because I do. Have you watched You? I have. It's one of those shows that I think is pretty bad, but I love it still. I don't know how to explain that. I don't think it's a good show, but I think it's really entertaining. So I don't really care. I watch it anyways. I agree with your Jordan Peele ranking. Us is my number one. I still need to watch Nope for a second time to really decide if I put it at 2 or 3. That's fair. Orphan First Kill was a really good movie. I hate my sister because she hates it. Damn. All right, next up we have Pearl. So Pearl is probably one of the best horror films of the year. Would I put it in S? No, I'd put it in A. Above Barbarian, I would say. Pearl's like my favorite subgenre. So what that subgenre is I guess psychological character study. That's what Pearl is. And I fucking love movies like that. You know, you got American Psycho, Black Swan, Joker. I'm sure I can list off more. That's just focused on one person as the main character. And it's just through their perspective, just completely, you know, they have so many issues and we explore their psyche, basically. I love those movies, and Pearl was that. And love the aesthetic. It takes place in 1918, so it was really cool the way they were able to make it feel like not only was it, you know, in 1918, but it also feels like a movie that came out in like the 30s or something, the way the music was and the way they shot it and everything. So really impressive movie. I loved it. It was really colorful too. It was a good movie. I think most people would probably agree with that, right? I don't think it's unpopular to say it's an A tier film. I thought it was really good. I have a reaction on the channel, by the way. If you haven't watched it, recommend you go check it out. I actually posted it like 2 weeks ago, maybe. Really good. Pearl's S tier, my favorite horror film of 2022. I look at it as a horror version of Wizard of Oz. Yeah, I could see that. It's really good. It was really good. That one of the best performances of the year too. Mia Goth, probably with my top 4 favorite performances. You got Austin Butler, Mia Goth, and 2 others that I would say are some of the best performances of this year. Have I got to the other 2 yet? One of them I haven't talked about yet, but we'll get to it. And what was the other one? I'm forgetting the other one. Who was the other one that I thought was really good this year? Shit, I'm forgetting it. I'll think of it later. Oh, it was I forgot the actor's name. It was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Guy who played Waymond in it. Forget his name. But he well, actually I know his name. I just don't know how to pronounce it. So if someone could please help me how to pronounce his name, please. Played Short Round in Indiana Jones. I can never pronounce his name. And I always feel so bad not being able to pronounce it. Brendan Fraser. Well, yeah, he's the one we're gonna get to because I haven't talked about that movie yet. But yeah, he's definitely one of the ones. Jenna Ortega. She was. I mean, we're talking about her performance in Scream. She's fine. I don't think she was, that great in it though. She was good though. But in Wednesday, I didn't see her Wednesday, so I can't talk about that. Yeah, I did see They Them. It's on the list, so we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Up next is Prey. Sorry, I had to burp real quick. Prey is gonna go below Barbarian in A tier, but it definitely deserves A tier. This is a really surprising film because Predator. I mean, they've been having a lot of meh films lately. They've been some good ones too, definitely, but some of them have been kind of just meh. Especially the one that came out in 2018, or was it 17? I don't remember, but it wasn't that good. But this one was really solid. I loved the main lead. I loved how different the Predator was in this one. It was a very, it was back in time, obviously, so it had this really unique looking Predator and some good action. It was solid. I thought it was great. I don't really consider it as a horror film, so I didn't have it in my top 10 horror films of the year. I included it in the honorable mentions because I know a lot of people consider it a horror film, but I don't. It's more of like an action sci-fi. But Prey was really good. I reacted to that on the channel as well. Oh yeah, Jenna Ortega was an X. I forgot about that. She was an X and Scream. She did a lot this year. Yeah, totally forgot about that. But yeah, Prey was really surprising. I really did not expect to like it that much. I was fully expecting it to. I think everyone was expecting it to suck, but it ended up being really damn good. Not S tier though. We're saving S tier, like I said, for just a few films. Yeah, so that's that. RRR. Wow, this one's I don't know. Because I'm saving S for a few films. I don't know if this one should be an S tier or not. It's either gonna be top of A or bottom of S. But I'm not sure which one. I feel like if I'm gonna have, it was in my top 5 of the year. It was at number 5. So if I'm gonna have 5 films in S, then I might as well put this in S. Because I guess we can have 5 films in S. Yeah, that's fair. We'll make S tier full of 5 films, and then yeah, so that'll be at the bottom of S. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, RR was very good. Incredible. It was on Netflix. I think it's still on Netflix. It's one of the craziest films I've ever watched. Like, it's just, and a lot of people were trying to convince me that it wasn't supposed to be over the top, and I was like, no, this is over the top. Come on, that's the whole point. It's supposed to be very over the top. None of it's realistic in terms of what they're trying to do with the action sequences. It's very much just an insane film. Very long, but it does not stop being crazy for the entire runtime. The 2 characters, the main leads, they had probably one of the best friendships I've seen in a film in a long time. Just fucking beautifully written. It was really entertaining. I recommend it. I talked about it a lot more in my top 10 of the year, so I recommend checking it out. It is a foreign film, so you gotta watch it in subtitles. If you're okay with that, then yeah, that's definitely worth watching. But yeah, it was fantastic. I definitely recommend it for anyone. Check it out. Never heard this one. Yeah, so definitely recommend it if you haven't heard of it. It still should be on Netflix. I don't think they got rid of it. At least they shouldn't have. I'm not sure if it was originally. It was probably in theaters before that. I don't know. I saw it on the channel, actually. I reacted to it. A lot of these I reacted to on the channel, actually. Subs, not dubs. Oh yeah, no, I can't do dubs. I can't. They're just so bad. They're usually pretty bad. I much prefer with the subtitles. All right, next up is Scream. I've talked about this so many times this year as well. A lot of these movies I have. So again, I'm not gonna go too in depth with it, but I'm gonna give it a B tier. I think I liked it more than Nope, but I didn't like it more than Orphan First Kill. So there you go. That's my opinion on Nope. You know what? I think I'm gonna move. I think I'm gonna move two of these into A, because I feel like B is very padded out. Ambulance definitely could be in A, and so can Wakanda Forever. Maybe even Avatar can be in A, but probably not. I'll probably keep Avatar down in B. Top of B though. Definitely top of B. Yeah. Just so B's not too padded out. I think these do deserve... Like, I'm never one to say they need to be even. They don't need to be even at all. That's not how I feel. But I feel like I was just kind of like between A anyways. And the only thing that made me go B is me thinking maybe there's going to be more better films that I'll put above it. But honestly, I think this fits for me. This works. Yeah. But yeah, Scream 5. So Scream 5 I thought was really solid. I wasn't a big fan of the killer reveals, though. Not that they were, predictable. I didn't think they were predictable at all. I just think their motivation just did not interest me at all. It made sense. There's nothing plot hole about it. I just thought it was like, okay, like you could have done something more interesting than that. But I liked everything else about it. I don't like that how they handled legacy characters. That's the thing I really didn't like about it. I didn't think they handled them well at all. Everyone else, I liked. I like the new characters. I like the kills. That was all fine. I'm excited for Scream 6. All I really have to say. No, I did not watch The Samaritan. Nope. Avatar is Death A tier. It's close. It's close for me, but I'm gonna put it in B. I think there's some stuff that holds it back for me. Shut In. This movie, I doubt literally anyone else watched it. I think it was one of the first movies I watched of this year, actually. I'm gonna put it below Hellraiser, probably. In B. Because it was a good movie. It was definitely it was one of those thrillers, not really a horror, but more of just like a thriller of just a mother trying to save her child from these like insane guys who are trying to kill her, and just trying to see her, like, I guess, bring out her motherly instincts to get out of the closet that she was stuck in. And I thought it was entertaining. I had a good time watching it. Smile. Very unpopular opinion here because I don't think people are putting this that high in the rankings, but I think it's one of the best movies of the year, one of the best horror films of the year as well. Putting it all the way above Glass Onion even, which might be crazy for some people. Might be crazy, but I'm doing it anyways. One of a very, very surprising film because it's taking a concept that's been done so many times and they did it in a really interesting and new way. So I thought that was really impressive of them. And it's really creepy idea because, like, the whole smile gimmick, we've seen that before. It's always done, like, ridiculously. Like that one movie, Truth or Dare or whatever it's called. They, like, do that smile where it's, like, really wide. This one's just a simple, like, it's a simple smile. There's nothing too crazy about it. So I really enjoyed it. I just didn't like the last, like, 5 minutes. I thought the last 5 minutes was kind of a disappointment. But again, like I talked about before, just because the ending doesn't live up to the expectations that I had for the rest of it does not mean it is automatically going to be bad. Just the way I see it. Ripoff of It Follows in the Ring. See, the word ripoff, the reason why I don't like it is because ripoff and taking inspiration from is like the same thing at the end of the day, right? Like you can literally replace that with taking inspiration from and it would work the same way, So I feel like most art is going to take inspiration from other things. Now, if it's the exact same, like completely word for word, then yeah, I would consider it more of a problem, but it's not. It's just a very similar idea that's been done before. It's just, they still find a different way to do it. A ripoff to me is like, I can't really think of an example, to be honest. Let me think. I don't know. I can't think of an example. I really don't. I don't tend to call movies ripoffs because I'm always open to movies taking inspiration from other things. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, Especially because not everyone sees every movie. So let's say it was a ripoff of It Follows in the Ring, right? What if someone hadn't seen It Follows or The Ring? And they end up seeing Smile? Then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what those other films were that came before it because they didn't even see them. And obviously, it's not going to be the exact same way no matter what. There's going to be new actors, there's going to be new story, there's going to be new plot and everything. It's going to be different. Similar concept, but it's done a different way. So I'm okay with it. I don't have a problem with it being very similar to those movies. I like it. It's really just a cursed movie. That's what it is. It's the only similarity between them. They have like this curse that characters go and it goes to the next person, next person. That's all it really is. It's only similarity to me. So I had no problem with it being similar. Because I have seen those other two movies, and I love those other two movies. I love The Ring. I love It Follows. I just also love Smile. Oh yeah, it's the daughter of Kevin Bacon's the main actress of Smile. Yep, I knew that. I found that out right after the film as well. All right. Next up, we have Sonic 2. So Sonic 2, again, like I talked about before, animated films are usually not my thing in the first place. Well, it's not really animated. I guess it feels animated because most of it is CGI, to be honest. They're not going to have too much where it's not CGI. There's not many scenes without CGI. I don't know if I like this more than the first Sonic, to be honest. I thought it was fine. I'm going to put it above Jurassic World, maybe? It's probably going to be in C though, because I don't know. They were just okay. It's Sonic. It's more of that stuff. It's got some fun stuff to it, but at the end of the day, it's not a movie I'm going to watch and be that emotionally invested in. You know, Top Gun has not been ranked yet. No. I wish your channel was more popular. You really pump out good content. Thank you. I appreciate it. I wish it was too, to be honest. Now I'm very happy with where I'm at. You know, I'm not going to ever be ungrateful about it, but of course I'm always going to want more, you know. What was I on? Sonic 2. Yeah, so Sonic 2 was fine. I don't really have much to say about it because it was one of those films where it's like I don't really have a big opinion on it. I just think it's fine. You know, it's good. It's entertaining. It's definitely better for kids. If you have kids, take them to see it. They'll love it. I thought it was fine. Spiderhead. I watched this because it was the same director as Top Gun Maverick, and I was expecting it to be really good because of that, but it was just kind of okay. I was gonna go and see. It was fine. Interesting, really interesting concept. I actually loved the concept of this. I thought it was one of the most interesting concepts of a film, and I would love to see it done again in a better way, but it was just okay. That's all I have to say about Spiderhead. Terrifier 2. I talked about this a lot past few days because my top 10 of the year video. But yeah, Terrifier 2 is going to be one of the best movies of the year for me in A tier. I could talk about this movie for hours. I think it is really underrated. I don't know what it was exactly. I think it was part of the fact that it felt like a very classic slasher to me, and those are just, you know, I really love slasher films, of course, so for it to feel like a classic slasher was impressive, and for them to go really far with the gore and just not give a fuck, it was impressive, especially with the budget. It's low budget and they're able to do a lot with it. They actually have a story there. They actually have interesting characters. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. It's not S tier, but it's a solid film. It's one of my favorite horror films of the year. Not one of my favorite horror films ever, though. I mean, it's probably my top 50 maybe, but it's not, you know, that high. It's not my top 20 or anything like that. Yeah, it's definitely an 80s style slasher film. The colors are great. The music was so good. One of my favorite soundtracks probably of the year for sure. The gore was over the top, yeah, but that's what I liked about it, you know. I think that's the kind of the whole point, and I was like, I'm okay with that. I can handle gore. We'll talk about a movie later on where something I couldn't handle, but gore I can handle as long as I know it's fake, obviously, you know. But as I know, it's not for everyone, and I completely expect it's not going to be for everyone. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do for the third one. Is Werewolf by Night on here? No, for two reasons. One, because it's not technically a movie. Two, because I didn't see it. It's technically a special presentation. It's not really classified as a movie, so I wouldn't even include it anyways. But I guess you could. It's just I personally wouldn't. Art the Clown is pretty cool. I didn't like the first Terrifier. I didn't, but I thought it was a really impressive film. So, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. I probably gonna give this a D. Yeah, I didn't like it that much. It was really short, so I'm glad it didn't overstay its welcome, but there was really nothing about it that I thought was that interesting. Like, it was just another Texas Chainsaw movie, and it was a couple cool kills, sure. None of them were that good. Really weird story, really weird plot line. The characters were, oh my god, so annoying. I think they were probably some of the worst characters we've seen in the Texas Chainsaw franchise. And yeah, they handled the legacy character like shit. That's pretty much all I gotta say about it. I don't know. I wasn't a fan. I'm sure I would like it more on rewatch maybe, but I didn't love it. I didn't hate it either the first time I watched it. Like I will say, I didn't think it was god awful, but the more I've thought about it, I'm like, yeah, it's not awful still. It's just, it's not that good. You give it a low B. It was a great time, awesome kills. Some of the kills were good, yeah. It had some cool kills, but I hated every character in it. Agreed. I don't have to love the characters to like the movie, but I feel like slashers, you kind of want to at least like a couple. I don't know. Next time we have the Adam Project. So for a long time, this was one of my favorite movies of the year because it was one of the first movies to release. But I don't know. Where would you guys put the Adam Project if you saw it? Of course. The whole street felt like a set, like 3 shops. Yeah. He felt more respected than Michael and Enz. Leatherface was kind of badass. Yeah, he was better than other versions of Leatherface, that's for sure. Definitely not the worst Texas Chainsaw film. Not even close to the worst. Oh wait, I'm actually out of water. I'm gonna get more water real quick. I'll be right back in like 2 seconds. Should I add a little disclaimer on screen? No, I'll be back in like 2 seconds. I usually add a disclaimer to be like, I'll be right back on screen, but I don't really need that if I'm gonna be back in literally like 5 seconds. 15 seconds. Someone time me, all right? I'll be right back. I don't know if that was 15 seconds. I don't know. Might have been. Probably not. Oh, that is good water. Damn, okay. Oof. Ugh, my throat needed that. I was really hurting. Low C tier because Ryan Reynolds plays himself again. He does play himself in it. I liked it a bit. I'm actually gonna put it probably below Orphan First Kill and B. Yeah, that sounds good to me. I really enjoyed this. It wasn't like incredible or anything, but it was actually quite a tearjerker. Like, it made me tear up twice actually, which was a surprise. And that's enough for me to like the movie. If a movie can make me tear up, it's gonna be considered a decent film, I would say. I just really like the story. I like time travel films, so you know, when you have time travel, it's always gonna be kind of fun. Yeah, that's all I have to say about the Adam Project. It was good. It was 17 seconds. Oh well, I didn't want to run with the water in my hand because then I would spill it. All right, how many do we have left? Quite a bit actually, so let's not be here forever because I actually have a lot I gotta do tonight, so I'm gonna get through this. The Batman, S tier, right at the top. For now, at the top, might change later, we don't know, but Batman, I've talked about this so many times. It's incredible. One of the best comic book movies of all time. It does Batman in the perfect way. It's the detective Batman I've always wanted. Got a great villain with the Riddler. The Penguin's fun in it. Amazing directing. Matt Reeves is easily one of the best directors of all time. I love it. It might even be better than Dark Knight. It might. I still am kind of iffy on that. It's kind of I'm between both of them in terms of the best Batman, but they're really close. Robert Pattinson is a fantastic Batman as well. Soundtrack, Michael Giacchino's music is without a doubt some of the best I've heard from comic book films. So yeah, I love it. I can't put it any lower than this for sure. I was disappointed by it, especially the story and pacing. Yeah, a lot of people had a problem with the pacing because it was like 3 hours, and I could see that, but I was engaged in it the whole time, so I don't really have an issue with the pacing too much, to be honest. Never for a moment was I like not into it. I can see I watched it 3 times in theaters, and on the third watch, I think I started to feel the runtime a bit. I was like, okay, maybe some of this could have been shortened up a little bit, but it didn't affect my first time watching it. And so if I watched it 3 times in one weekend, of course I'm going to start to feel a little bit like, okay, I've seen this so many times now, starting to get kind of slow. But first time I watched it, definitely not. I was completely just immersed into it the whole time. So I loved it. Definitely one of the best of the year. The Black Phone. The Black Phone is going to be in A tier, probably right here below Doctor Strange. Yeah, that's what I did in my top 10 of the year. I'm still following my top 10 of the year. It hasn't changed since I did it, so this was what I had in that ranking. So yeah, my favorite horror film of this year for sure. It's Scott Derrickson is starting to become one of my favorite horror directors, actually, because I've seen a couple of his, and he does the same thing in all of them, where he takes a very realistic thing, really grounded thing, and he just throws a supernatural element in it. That's what he does. I mean, you look at Sinister. Sinister's a similar thing. Sinister is the scariest movie I've ever seen. I don't know if you guys have seen Sinister, but watch it, because I literally could not go to sleep after watching that. And I never get scared by movies. I never do. It never happens. But Sinister, fucking like, every time I see that movie or any clips from it, or the soundtrack especially, it was really the soundtrack that did it of Sinister. And he directed that, and it was a realistic concept. All of it was realistic, but you just throw some supernatural stuff in there, and then it just scares the fuck out of you. Because when a movie goes so far into the supernatural, it's not scary anymore, because it's like, okay, it's so obviously unrealistic because it's supernatural, and I don't believe in that stuff. Personally, I don't believe in it. So I'm like, oh, it's whatever. But and then you go really, really grounded. It's like, okay, it could happen, so it's pretty scary, but whatever. But then you take a really grounded thing that could happen, and then you put a little bit of scary shit in there, and then you're just like, jeez, that's fucking terrifying. And that's what Sinister was to me. That's what Black Phone was. And that's also what his other film, I forget the name of it, was. But they were all really terrifying. If you think Sinister is scary, you should see Hereditary. Hereditary, I don't think was like that scary. It was just like, what's the word? Disturbing. Disturbing is a better word for Hereditary. I did love Hereditary, I do, but I don't know about love it. I liked it. I liked it. I always say love when I feel like I don't really mean it. I kind of just, I liked it. It wasn't like the best thing ever, but it was more disturbing to me than terrifying. Whereas, I don't know, Sinister for me, I never like, it's really the music that does it, I feel like, It's hard to say without you watching the movie, but especially those tapes clips, so fucking terrifying. I don't know. But yeah, the Black Phone was really good. Talked about it a lot in my top 10 of the year video. I don't know. I liked it a lot. I really want to rewatch it too. My friend always played the Sinister music to scare me. That shit was terrifying. Because they take those realistic clips. It's hard to say without watching it. It's really hard to say without watching it, but the menu has not been ranked yet. We're getting to it soon though. Sinister would be S. I didn't actually, to be fair, I didn't like Sinister that much. I mean, I won't say I hated it. I just gave like a 4 out of 5 maybe. Like it wasn't like a 5 out of 5. Because for me, a horror film, it has to be more than just really scary. Just because it's really scary does not mean I'm going to love it. I still need a good story. It had a decent story. It just wasn't like amazing or anything. So I wouldn't give it that high of a rating. Sinister 2 I never watched, so I can't speak about Sinister 2. The Bubble is next. The Bubble is god awful. This is going in F because this was fucking trash, man. This was a comedy, and I don't know. My thought after watching this was comedy just does not work anymore for some reason. I think comedy in like other avenues works these days. Like horror comedies can be really good. Sometimes action comedies are really good, but whenever you have just a pure comedy, they're never good anymore, I feel like. And The Bubble was just not funny. It was trying to be very like, meta humor with like the pandemic and everything. And none of it was funny. I've never laughed once in it. It was boring on top of it. Are you going to watch Megan? Yeah, I will tomorrow. What the hell is The Bubble? It was on Netflix. A lot of big actors and actresses and a lot of big stars. But It was boring. Don't watch it unless you want to. I don't know. Just I don't know. Wasn't very good. The Gray Man. This is a Russo Brothers directed film, and I was so disappointed by it because I love the Russo Brothers, and I think they have a lot of good work under their belt. But this was not one of their better things, actually. Actually, that's not true. Russo Brothers suck at everything except for the Marvel stuff, I think. I think that's the like I don't know about suck. Okay, they're not great at everything other than Marvel, which is just crazy because they've directed some of the best Marvel films. You have Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Civil War, Avengers not Avengers Civil War, Captain America Civil War, Captain America the Winter Soldier. Those are their directed MCU films. And then they do other movies and they never end up being that great. The Gray Man was okay. I'm not gonna say it's terrible. I kind of was talking like it was gonna be terrible, but it wasn't terrible. It was just underwhelming. I'm gonna put it right here. It was still decent, good action. I liked Ryan Gosling in it. I liked Chris Evans in it, but Ana de Armas was in it too. She was good, but I don't think it was nearly as good as it should have been, given the directors, because they did great work in Marvel, and for some reason they have not done great work outside of it, at least in my opinion. I'm sure others disagree, though. Is it one of those big, like, entourage with big stars slapped onto it? Yeah, kind of. A lot of big stars onto it. We get the menu now. So the menu I liked quite a bit. It was probably in my top, yeah, it was in my top 10 of the year for horror, not top 10 general. If you consider it a horror film, I do. So I would probably have it, I know I didn't put it above Barbarian, but I put it below Orphan First Kill. So I'd probably put it right, I don't think I liked it more than Avatar. Yeah, right here sounds good. Right here next to Avatar. That sounds good. It was a really cool movie. Really fun. Really funny as well. Actually, they had good comedy to it. Like, it really was good comedy. I was expecting it to go in a completely different direction than what it went in, but I thought it was okay the way they ended it. Really was a satire in a lot of ways on, like, you know, food culture and, like, you know, the really pretentious food culture type stuff. And I liked it. It was funny. I think if I was more of a food person and I, like, you know, was more into food stuff, I would probably like it more. But for what it was, I enjoyed it quite a bit. Anya Taylor-Joy in it was really good. A lot of the actors in it were really good, as well as Ralph Fiennes. He was probably one of my favorite performances of him. I've only seen him in a few other things, but it was really good. I mean, not better than his Voldemort performance, but he was still really good in it. And yeah, it was solid. I don't have much to say about it, honestly. The menu would be S tier if it wasn't for the ending, so it's an A. Yeah, I see some people didn't like the ending. I think the ending for me, I was expecting it to go in a different direction where, like, this is just the action film fan in me, where I was like, oh, imagine she's gonna go back in the place and, like, kill everyone and save everyone else. like some shit like that was gonna happen. But no, obviously, you know, she wasn't gonna do that. She just left. And I kind of like the idea about it with the whole burger thing. I'm not gonna, you know, go too in depth with what happens specifically, but I really do think there was a lot of interesting concepts to the film, and I liked it quite a bit. He was scary. He was a scary guy, yeah, for sure. Must have cost a lot of money to see all these. To be fair, a lot of these I watched on streaming services, so it doesn't really cost that much. And for the theaters are actually not that bad because I have the AMC membership, and it's like $20 a month, and you get like 3 movies for free or something. So I'm probably spending, like, let's see, $20 a month on AMC Premiere stuff, $25, something like that. Then you got a couple of streaming services that I share between my whole family. So it's not like I'm spending myself. I'm sharing between my whole family. So I'm not really spending that much of it. Maybe like $20 to $30 of it. So I'm probably spending maybe like $40 to $50 a month on movies, I would say, which is not that crazy in my opinion. And considering I do it for my job, I probably get it paid back. So personally, I think it's okay. But yeah, I recommend it. AMC Premiere, get that. Not AMC Premiere. What is it called? AMC Stubs. That's what it's called. It's something like that. Is it? I don't know how many movies is this for free, but you get some movies for free. And I'm like never spending money on movies anymore. It's just like you get $22 a month and that's it. As long as you're watching at least 2 movies a month, you're good. You're saving money. If you watch less than 2 movies a month, you're losing money. So I highly recommend it if you watch more than 2 movies a month. And at this point, I am watching at least 2 movies a month, so it's beneficial for me. There's A-list. Okay, A-list, that's what it's called. Yeah. Definitely recommend it. If you have a lot of AMCs in your area, because, you know, obviously if you don't have any AMCs, then you're like, no point. But there's plenty of AMCs near me. I got, you know, tons of them, so it's always something that I'm going to be able to go to. So any theater, I'm always going to AMC for new movies, pretty much. Don't recommend getting it for any other place, because AMC is probably the most common place, you know? AMC's closed down in the pandemic in the UK. Oh, shit. That's not good. Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's why I guarantee you I would not be watching this many movies if I didn't do it for my channel, because I would have, you know, I wouldn't have as much time to, so I would have to probably watch a lot less. That's just the way it works, you know? Same way for people who play video games for YouTube and they make money from it, they probably are able to play way more games than the average person. So it's just usually how it ends up being. All right. What's next? The Northman. The Northman was similar to All Quiet on the Western Front, where I appreciated it more than I enjoyed it, but I still loved it. Like, won't take it away from the fact that it was still a really damn good movie. But where am I going to put it on here? Probably an A, but where an A? It's a below Glass Onion. Yeah, I liked it a lot. It's one of those like revenge stories where I wish I got to the revenge part a little bit faster. There was a big point in the middle where I wasn't that entertained by it, but everything in the third act and the first act was incredible. Really fantastic cinematography. I gotta watch what's his name, Robert Eggers. I watch his other stuff because I haven't seen any of his other films, so I'm definitely interested to see what the other films are like. But it was really good. Really great cast too. You know, Anya Taylor-Joy was in it as well. One of the Skarsgårds were in. I forget which Skarsgård it was. So many fucking Skarsgårds. I always forget which. I'll look it up actually because I don't want to get the name wrong. It was Alexander Skarsgård. Yeah, he was really great in it too. Even Ethan Hawke was in it. Ethan Hawke was in so many things this year. Damn, he was in Moon Knight. He was in The Northman, The Black Phone. He's in so much shit. Probably more than I'm forgetting, actually. He was in a little bit of Glass Onion even, but like for 2 seconds. Hey man, your content is great for a lower level creator. Keep it up. Thank you. I appreciate it. Definitely one of the best on YouTube for movie reactions. Thank you, Lee. I appreciate it. Top 10 favorite YouTubers, man. That's a high what's it called? It's a high bar, to be honest, because there are a lot of great YouTubers out there. Like, especially like, I think my favorite is Mr. Beast. I made a whole ass essay on him, like in what was it, freshman year of high school or middle school? Not middle school, fucking middle school. Freshman year of college, I did a whole essay on him because we had to do an essay on an influencer, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do Mr. Beast because I have a lot to say about Mr. Beast, and he's a really great YouTuber, not just in terms of his content, but also just the type of stuff he does. Just like I think it's really appealing, you know. All right. What's next? The Whale. Oh, I need to talk about The Whale. This is the one I need to talk about because this one was really cool. That's going in S. Definitely going in S. So definitely my top 10 of the year, and probably one of my favorite performances of like all time. Not even exaggerating. I'd probably say like top 20 performances ever. Brendan Fraser, this guy, like, I've only seen him in the Mummy films, really, and maybe one other thing, like the Journey to Descend to the Earth, whatever that film was. He was fine in those, but he's never given like standout performances in those. He's mainly just there to be like an action guy. And, you know, to see him come back and do something again, I was really excited to watch it. And it was so much better than I expected. I was expecting the performance to be good, but I wasn't really expecting the whole film to be that amazing either. But it was. I've been seeing a lot of people giving this movie shit for reasons I don't feel like it's deserving, because they either just didn't understand it. And I usually don't say this. I usually don't say, you know, you don't like it, that must mean you don't understand it, because that's not fair to say. But when you hear their reason for not liking it, then you can make an opinion on that. And there's a lot of times where, yeah, I've been coming with that opinion where I'm like, okay, this person clearly does not understand the film if their takeaway was that. You know, there's always things where you can kind of leave it up to interpretation, sure. This is one where I don't really think there was that. It was kind of just completely telling you right off the bat what the film was about, what the message was, what they were trying to do. And people took it the wrong way. Completely the wrong way. Like, they're like, oh, they're making fun of overweight people. No, they're not fucking doing that. Like, that's not what they're doing. So it was a really sad film. Definitely. It definitely made me tear up quite a bit. And even not even just Brendan Fraser too. Like, he's definitely the one that really gets you. But Sadie Sink was also in it, and she plays Max in Stranger Things. If you guys have seen Stranger Things, she was fantastic in it as well. And I would say she's definitely one of the best actresses from Stranger Things in general. So I was excited to see her in this. And then she really plays off of Brendan Fraser really well in the film. And there's also Samantha Morton from The Walking Dead, which that's what I know her from personally. And she was really great. And I forget the other actress's name, the one that plays the nurse. She was really fantastic too. It was really one of those movies that's centered around the acting, because that's all it is just dialogue in this man's house. That's all it really is. So you're gonna really need to enjoy dialogue heavy films to like this. If you're the type of person that just wants to watch action blockbusters, don't go see this, because you're not gonna have a good time, because it's not that. It's all about the characters and the interpersonal relationships between them. That's all it's about. I loved it. It is sad though, especially the ending. Really, really sad. The Whale's an 8 for me, but Brendan Fraser deserves to win an Oscar for that heartbreaking performance. Agreed. I hate they released The Batman earlier last year. It could have been nominated for Best Picture. How often do they nominate comic book movies for Best Picture? Sometimes they do. Oh, and then following that up, yeah, MKF30 says that, yeah, they rarely do it. Yeah, they've done it a couple times though, I think. What film should win Best Picture in your opinion? The problem with Best Picture is I know it's never gonna be the movies that I think, because I'm not, they view in Oscars, they view movies very differently. Like we were just talking about, like certain films are just never gonna get picked because it's just how Oscars works. But I'm expecting it to probably be. It could be Everything Everywhere, but honestly, I don't think it will be. I think it might be one of the ones I didn't even see, like Fabelmans. It could be that I didn't see the Fabelmans, but I think it definitely could be something like that. It's probably going to be one of those. I don't think it's going to be. It's not going to be the Batman. I don't think someone said it can't be. Why can't it not be the Batman? Is that like? Is there a certain cutoff of when they can nominate it? I'm not sure how that works. I thought it was just everything in 2022, but I guess not. Maybe there's like a certain point where they start to allow it. Because I'm honestly not sure how Oscars works. I never follow the Oscars. I personally don't. I don't really care that much. It's interesting to look at it. I'm not like against looking at it. I just generally don't care that much about it. I think there's definitely a better reward, like awards thing they could do that would be more interesting. Was Zack Snyder's Justice League 2022? That was 2021. That would be S for me in 2021, but no, that was 2021. We have they. Oh, actually, I want to talk about The Whale a little bit more because I didn't finish everything I wanted to say about it. Yeah. So the only thing holding it back, I think, like I said, it wasn't very subtle in its storytelling. They were kind of just laying it all out there for you. There wasn't really much left up for interpretation. But I don't think that holds that much against the film, because I don't think it's a bad writing style. I think it's just personally something I would have preferred not to see. Where everything's just kind of like it's telling you exactly what it's trying to say, rather than just kind of like, I think that's very much a thing that I'm always a fan of in film, is subtlety. But they them. I watched this like 2 weeks ago maybe, and yeah, it was not good. I'm just gonna put it in F. It was not good. I'm sorry. It was a whodunit slasher like Scream, but the whodunit was probably the stupidest reveal I've ever seen, because I don't want to spoil it because some people might want to watch it. But it kind of just came out of nowhere, and it was like, who the fuck's... I don't want to spoil it. But it's really hard to talk about big reveals in films without spoiling it. But when you take the last 20 minutes of the film, that's the only part of the movie that's actually like a slasher. The first hour is actually like it could be a decent film. Like I actually think that first half they could have just take and made it its own film. Like don't even make it a slasher. Don't make it anything about. Don't just throw in this whodunit slasher thing. Just do the film about this conversion camp and have it just be that. And you could have made it a decent film. You could have just had a drama about these characters trying to, get through this and trying to either dealing with, because some of them liked being there, some of them didn't, some of them wanted to be there, some of them didn't. And you could have done some interesting drama there, and I'm sure people would have liked it. But just kind of throwing this slasher idea in there that has no real connection to what's going on is just so stupid. The dialogue is horrendous. That scene where they sing that one song by Pink, I think was probably the worst scene from this entire year. Someone asked about what movie made you cringe the most. I think this might have been it. That scene, I was like, like it just, come on. You could have done something cool with this. And I think, like I said, it would have been worked better as a drama. And that's it. I don't think the slasher element worked at all with it. So yeah, I don't know. It's not like I think it definitely has some entertaining moments to it, but no, it didn't work for me. Didn't like it. It felt more concerned about message than horror. Yeah, which the message part of it, they could have worked into like I said, a drama. You could have made that into a drama and it would have been just fine, but I don't know. Well, you could have made a drama but also changed the dialogue as well. You couldn't keep the dialogue. The dialogue was god awful. It was not very good. Thor Love and Thunder. Thor Love and Thunder is disappointing, but I don't think it's god awful. It's definitely lowered on my list over time, I think, a little bit. I'm probably going to put it above Jurassic Park at least, but below Sonic. I liked it more than Jurassic World. Not Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Dominion. But it was not definitely not B tier for sure. The comedy ruined this for me. I think this could have been a really good film if they actually took a serious route with it, with a really serious villain, which he is a serious villain, but for some reason they threw in all this comedy that just threw all of that out the window. I do really like a lot of the film. Otherwise, though, I do think it's entertaining. The music's really good. The visuals are fantastic. It's a good-looking film for sure. And except for a couple scenes, there was one really terrible CGI scene, which I just like, what the fuck is this? But most of it's fine. I think Jane as Thor, she's fine in this. I don't think that was a terrible idea. I just think the execution of it wasn't that great. She just learns the powers in like 2 seconds. A bit too easy. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about this. They could have made this way better. Christian Bale was wasted, definitely. But it could have been worse. It could have been worse. The screaming goats were one of the worst things I had to endure. So funny thing about the screaming goats, I laughed my ass off at those goats, but honestly, I don't think it was because it was funny. I was just having a good time. I went with my girlfriend, so we had a good time. I was just laughing a bunch, but at the end of the day, if I watched this like today, I probably wouldn't laugh at all at the screaming goats whatsoever. But I don't know why I laughed so much watching it. I don't know. I just did. But that was the only thing that worked in terms of the comedy for me. Everything else, most of it just did not work, and I just never chuckled mostly at all. But yeah, I don't know. It could have been way better. I think you need to take Thor in a more serious direction from here on out. They need to do another Thor film that's serious. I don't want this, goofy shit anymore with Thor. It just doesn't work. Doesn't work. But it worked in Ragnarok. I don't think it doesn't really work as well here, though. Yeah, you had a lot of stuff with Jane with like her being having cancer and stuff. You could have done more with that, but they just kind of make jokes out of it. I'm like, doesn't really work. So I don't know. Top Gun Maverick, top S, above the Batman. Talked about this a lot in my video as well. Yeah, it's perfect movie. It takes the first film and just completely, does a way better version of it. It's not a remake, but it has similar concepts and stuff. And yeah, it's way better. It's got incredible music, incredible flight, like scenes. It just looks so amazing. All of it, absolutely adore what they're able to do with the flight scenes in this, because a lot of it's practical. Some of it's CGI, but a lot of it is practical. And absolutely love it. Tom Cruise is great in this. Miles Teller is great in this. Yeah, I don't know much to complain about. I love the story. I love the characters. I love the dialogue. It's great. I don't want to talk too much about it because Like I said, if I talked about it in my other videos, I'm probably not going to say too much about it because, I don't want to, what's the word? I don't want to repeat myself. Why couldn't I think of the word repeat? I don't know what's wrong with me sometimes. I couldn't think of the fucking word repeat. Triangle of Sadness. I actually watched this for a Patreon request recently. So if you want to watch my reaction to it, it's on my Patreon right now. This one, I think I would have liked more if I wasn't so fucking grossed out by vomit. Because it was without a doubt one of the grossest movies I have ever seen in my entire life. I'm going to put it in B. Because it's actually pretty good. There's a lot of good stuff to it. I love the last act especially. It's a really interesting satire on like the economic what do you call it, economic philosophies. Like it's satire on capitalism. It's really interesting, but that fucking vomiting scene, man, I couldn't stomach it. That's what I was talking about before. Like Terrifier 2, I could stomach all the gore and everything like that, but watching people throw up for 15 minutes straight, I can't do it. I was looking away every 2 seconds. I just couldn't do it. It was just too nasty. It didn't take away from the movie because at the end of the day, it's what they were going for. They were trying to do that. And that's fine, but I couldn't stomach it. I was like, no, I gotta look away a couple times. It was too much. But I really do like what they did with it, especially like I said in the last part of the film. So I'm not gonna complain too much about it. It was fine. Let me take a screenshot of this list so I can get some A's and B's watched. Oh yeah, sure. Take a screenshot. Yeah, of course. Not that I like the thing about like recommending movies, and I always try my best to like explain my reasoning for why I place things in certain places, because sometimes I'll have a movie really low, but I'll still recommend it. Like Fresh, I have down in here at C, but I still recommend this to a lot of people. I just personally don't think it's that like great for me personally, but yeah. No, I can see. The thing is, I can handle vomit in movies. I can because I know it's fake. But the problem with Triangle of Sadness is that it's 15 minutes straight of it. Like I'm not exaggerating. 15 minutes. Apparently, the whole marketing was centered around it, which I didn't know that going into it, obviously. But apparently, that's like part of the marketing. And I think they even gave I think people in the theaters, they gave them vomit bags just in case or something, which is crazy to think. But yeah, it was bad. It was bad. I was just like, no, I can't do it. I can't. It was still really great though. Like given them that, me hating watching that, right? I hate watching vomit. Even me still really enjoying it really says something that this is a pretty good movie. So there's that. But most of the time I don't mind vomit scenes because if it's just like one person vomiting right away, it's whatever. It's just really quick, just whatever. I can deal with that. But when it's a whole 15 minutes of it, I can't do it. 15 minutes of multiple characters and it all looks really realistic. It's not like they don't, I won't go too deep into it in case any of you guys are eating. So I'll stop talking. Turning Red, I'm going to put in D, and this is again, really got to specify. I don't think this is a bad movie. It's not for me. I definitely don't think this is the type of movie for, it's mainly for kids, definitely. I don't think all Pixar movies need to be for kids. But this one, for me, just felt like it was definitely more geared towards younger audiences more than any of them, which is fine. It's not a problem. I just didn't enjoy it that much. I was watching it for most of the time and I was zoning out. I didn't care. So it's going in D for me. I've seen Pixar movies that definitely appeal to me more. You got Toy Story, Up. I can name many of them. I love a lot of Pixar films, but this one just did not appeal to me. I didn't really enjoy it. And even for kids, it was kind of weird because it had like that twerking scene. Like, well, why are you twerking in a kids movie? I don't know. So even though it was for kids, it also wasn't at the same time. I don't know. It was not for me. Not for me. I don't have much to say about it though. Uncharted. I didn't play the Uncharted games, so I didn't have any way to judge it or anything like that. But I just thought it was okay. It was a fun little adventure movie with Tom Holland. Didn't really, it didn't feel like it wasn't Tom Holland. It didn't feel like a new character. It didn't feel like Nathan Drake. Even though I didn't play the games, it still didn't feel like this was a new character. It just felt like I was watching Tom Holland in an action movie, and that's it. It was entertaining, but I would never watch it again. So that's the way I feel about Uncharted. Turning Red was one of the worst Pixar movies ever for me. Yeah, it was probably within my top 5 worst Pixar films, probably, yeah. That movie made me not like pea soup. I like peas, just not the soup. Are you talking about Triangle? You know what's funny? Triangle of Sadness, when I watched that and I got so grossed out by it, that same day for dinner, I had pea soup. Not even exaggerating. But I was good by then, so I was able to eat it. So next up we have Violent Night. Violent Night I really loved. I would actually probably go as far as to say it's an A. Gonna put right there. I have to pee really badly, by the way, and I don't want to rush the last couple ones, so I might go do that really quickly before I finish, because every time I have to use the bathroom, I always rush the stream, and I'm like, you know, I didn't want to rush it. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more, so I'm actually gonna just run and do that real quick, and I'll be right back, so I don't have to rush it, you know? Okay. That was good. I needed that. Okay. What do we just rank? Violent Night, right? The Walking Dead poster above his toilet. You would think, but no. If it was completely my place, then yeah. If I didn't share the place with anyone else, then yeah, it would 100% have that. All right, Violent Night. Very entertaining. Just a lot of fun, action-packed David Harbour stuff as Santa Claus. What more can you ask for? What more can you ask for? I thought it was really entertaining. I don't really think it was anything that profound. It didn't have any like deep story. I mean, it had a couple interesting Christmas themes that were kind of good, but for the most part, it wasn't going for anything that deep. But it worked in every single way for me. I just was having a great time all the way through, and so I really did love it. Simple as that. I expected more, but it was all right for me. I think I was expecting about what I got, but I would have, of course, always loved even more than that, you know? I didn't like it as much as Nobody, which I think it was by the same creators as Nobody. I don't think it was the same. That definitely wasn't the same director. I don't think it was the same director, right? Let me check it out. Hold on. It was Tommy Whirl. I'd never heard of this guy. Yeah, I've never seen this director. Okay, he wasn't the same guy who directed Nobody, but Nobody was a movie that came out in 2021. Same creators, I believe, same producers, something like that, and similar type, you know, action film. It's just a lot of fun action, and it didn't work as well as Nobody did for me, but I still had a great time with it, so it was good. I wonder if the director of Triangle of Sadness was sick with COVID when they filmed it, hence the vomits. Yeah. Have you seen the Killer Grinch movie? I have not. All right. And what do we have left? Watcher. Not many people probably have seen Watcher because this is a more obscure film. It was in my top 10 of the year for horror. But where would I put it on the ranking? I'm going to say it was at number 7 on my ranking for horror. So it was below Barbarian and below The Menu. But above Orphan First Kill, I think. Probably put it right here. Yeah, I like the Watcher, or Watcher, not the Watcher. It was good. It was one of those concepts I've seen done before, where it's like, a girl moves into a new place, some guy's stalking her, and you're trying to figure out whether or not this person's actually going to kill her or try to kill her. And I thought that was a really good concept. It was really grounded. Yeah, it was really real. That's true. Same thing I was trying to get at by saying grounded. And it worked for me. I really liked the ending as well. Definitely closed up everything nicely. I wasn't loving it in the middle, actually, but there was a certain point towards the very end where I was like, okay, this is actually a really solid film. But it's not like amazing or anything. It's solid. I definitely recommend it for people who like those like psychological thrillers. It was good. I like the concept because like she's being stalked, but then she also stalks him because she's trying to figure out more about him. I like how they do that. That's kind of interesting. And she was great in the role as well. I forget the actress's name. Makia Moreau, I think is her name. She was in It Follows. So, if you liked It Follows, if you like the main actress in that, you'll probably like this because she's pretty good in this as well. And lastly, we have X. So X, I liked more in the theaters than I did like leaving the theaters. Not leaving the theaters, I mean like over time. I'm probably gonna put it at the bottom of B though. Probably below Elvis. Yeah, that sounds good. Because the thing about X is it's a lot of sex, to be honest. Which, I mean, some people like that, but it was one of those things where it's like, I don't need to watch this that much. It is important for the film, of course, is the whole concept. Obviously, you're going to expect that. The slasher aspects of it, I liked some of it. I think it's kind of a weird thing they do with it. I like most of it, though. Especially the 70s aesthetic. I think I like Pearl more, though. Pearl's definitely my preferred film of that trilogy so far. We haven't got Maxine yet, of course. Maxine's coming out sometime this year. Hopefully Maxine is even better than Pearl and X. I don't know if it will be, but hopefully it is. I don't know. I don't have much to complain about with X. I just think it's just personally wasn't 1,000% for me. But it had a lot of aspects that were for me. So I don't know. I liked it. Especially the scene where what was that one song? Don't Fear the Reaper. That scene when that song's playing, that was a dope scene. That was probably my favorite scene in the movie. Not only because I like that song, but also because the scene was just cool. The best action scene of 2022, probably it could be the Batman's action. Either a scene from the Batman or maybe it would be from either the Batman or Everything Everywhere All at Once or RRR. It would be one of those three movies probably. Can't think of the exact scene I would choose though. Because there's a lot of great action in all three of those, but it's kind of hard to pick the best action scene. Maybe the butt plug fight and Everything Everywhere All at Once. And you know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie. One of those scenes, maybe. Some scene around that time was really great. Sometimes sex scenes are necessary. Oh yeah, sometimes they are for sure. And this movie, it was necessary, I would say, but they go a little bit far with it sometimes, and sometimes I'm just like, I just don't want to see that. I'm sorry, like. Yeah, I wanted to rip my eyes out too. Yeah, it was some nasty stuff. All right, so this is our final list here. That's all the movies I watched this year. There's still a few I haven't seen that I would like to see. There's a couple Afterburn or After Sun is I think it's called. I would like to see. I've been hearing a lot of good things about that, and a couple others I haven't got a chance to see yet. But 2023, I'm going to try to watch a bunch of movies so I can have a bigger list than even this. Which I think this is pretty good. This is definitely better than the average person. I mean, the average person's probably only seeing like 10 to 15 new movies a year. So I think this is definitely better. That is better than I've ever done before. I've never seen this many movies in a single year. Without a doubt, this is the most movies I've seen in a single year. So, yeah, we're definitely doing some good stuff now. Like I said, plan to do it again this year. I'm gonna go hard with it. Hopefully, we have some damn good horror films. Hopefully, we have some damn good comic book films, some damn good action films, everything. I want to see tons of good stuff. I'm gonna try to, go outside my comfort zone a little bit more than I usually do as well, because like I said, I usually, if I see a movie and I don't think I'm gonna like it, I don't watch it. I'm gonna stop doing that as much. I'm gonna try to just say fuck it, I'll watch it. I'm not gonna listen too much to Rotten Tomatoes scores and all that stuff, because like a lot of people do that, but I just don't think it works, because there's so many movies that have such low ratings and I still love them, or they have such high ratings and I still hate him. That's just how life is. So, you know, I thought Wanda destroying Kamarja was an awesome action scene. Oh yeah, that scene. Oh, that scene was incredible. That scene was fantastic. It was especially the part where she's like, I forget what she said. Did she say like run, or she said something? She like whispered in that guy's ear. That was really cool. With the way X ended, I'm really interested to see how they make Maxine a horror movie. Me too, because what's going to be the horror aspect of it? I don't know. Your horror reactions are top class. Thank you very much. Are you active on Instagram? No, I don't really. I have a like private one, but it's just for like people I know in real life. I don't have a YouTube related one, so I don't. Even the one I have for real life, I don't really use that often. I don't really post much on it, so no. But it's private though. I'm more active on Twitter than anything. Damn good comedies. I hope there's good comedies this year, but I lost all hope in comedies. I think comedies, they work, like I said before, if it's a horror comedy or action comedy, like comedy works in specific film genres, but I rarely see them working good as just a pure comedy anymore. That's just only trying to be funny. If it's only trying to be funny, it's not going to work for me anymore. It just doesn't, unless they somehow surprise me. It's just rarely happened in the recent years. It's usually something else first. It's usually a drama first, then a comedy, or it's an action, then a comedy, or it's a horror, then a comedy. You know what I mean? She whispered, run. Yeah, okay, yeah. That was a great scene. I love that movie. I don't know why people don't like it, but to each their own. So yeah. Are you gonna watch Super Pets? Probably not. I'm sure if it's just available on streaming one day and I'm bored, maybe I'll check it out, but I didn't really care to watch it. Have you seen the 2013 Evil Dead remake? Nope. I'm gonna react to it right before the new Evil Dead comes out though, so keep an eye out for that. I actually talk about that in the reaction I posted today for the new Evil Dead Rise trailer. I haven't seen any of the Evil Dead films except for the original, which I watched on this channel 2 years ago, so yeah. All right, I'm gonna go because I have some other stuff I gotta do today, and yeah, I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. You can leave a comment with your favorite movies of the year, or you can go on my top 10 movies video and check out that and leave your top 10 there. Whatever you want to do, just, I don't know. You don't have to, but of course, if you'd like to, you can go for it. So I will see you on my next one. Peace out, everyone.